Reality.tv.
Good morning and welcome to day one of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 2. My name is Max Stenstrom. I'm joined in the booth by Aaron Healy, and geez, do we have a great game to kick things off. It is the Wyndham Titans and BRU Shake. Aaron, give us a little rundown on what we can expect from game one.
I think this will be a really interesting game. We've got a Sydney team in BRU Shake, haven't had to come too far, up against a Melbourne team in Wyndham. So they've come all the way here for this. We had Wyndham finishing 10th last year and BRU Shake finishing 19th. So we'll see if BRU can bring it to Wyndham.
As you say, Wyndham finished 10th. I know that they're hoping to do a little bit better this year. They spoke to me earlier and they said their goal is top 8.
Yep.
And once they're there, they're going to take it one game at a time, and you never know what can happen once you're in those knockout matches. They're obviously an experienced squad with a great mix of young guns and veterans with some international experience as well. BRU Shake maybe on paper slightly less experienced with slightly less of that star power, but they are a pretty well-established team in Sydney. This is by no means their first outing, and they've had plenty of time to build that chemistry, and we'll see if that kind of displays itself early in this match at the start of day one.
It's a beautiful day here in Nelson Bay. A little breath of wind, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue yet. We'll see how we go.
That slight wind is coming towards the camera, crossfield, and we'll see how they deal with it. It'll be the Titans coming from the left of screen to the right, who will be starting on defense. They'll send the first pool to get things underway. And it will be their captain, Jake Williams, who will kick proceedings off once he receives the hand from the other end to indicate both teams are ready to rock and roll. And just like that, we get things underway for the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 2. And Grow behind the disc. We'll see a lot of him in that handler space throughout this match for BRU. They work it nicely through the hands of Jess Lynn and then back to Grow. Lynn surveys her options upfield. BRU working out of a vertical stack as they find Lee. He'll use his length to great effect to go deep. And as you can see there, inevitably when you do go deep, unders open up as well. Moving it well upfield. They're now about 14 metres out on that far side. Inside flick attempt. A little wayward and knocked to the ground. Justin Mack makes his presence felt defensively and gets a block. Titans now with their first opportunity to break. Williams, lovely around backhand, shows his class, but a little too far. Sits nicely, and it's reeled in by Jessica Ricci. Back to Williams. He goes big backhand down the line. Out in front of Mack, and Mack will get the bookends.
Beautiful take there.
It's a lovely start to the day for Justin Mack. He gets the block and he gets the goal. And that's 1-0. Wyndham Titans come out strong.
That's a great start there for Wyndham. Looks like they were doing a bit of a straight up force on their defense, which seemed to work well. Banana Republic just couldn't quite get there.
Obviously being broken is never good. It's never something a team wants to happen, but it somehow often feels like being broken on the first point almost doesn't matter quite as much. You're both at 0-0 when it happens. Neither team's really had a chance to establish themselves. So hopefully that's just an opportunity for BRU to kind of get some of those early morning nerves out, maybe wake up fully, and they'll be able to settle a little bit here and get their offensive hold.
We've got the captain of Wyndham again going for the pull. It's Jake Wilson. The hand is up. Up it goes. Will it stay in? That's a nice pull sitting out there. We've got Yuan picking up the disc for BRU, sending it up. Can they get there? Nice take there. Oh, and he sends it. Ooh, bobbled. Can't quite keep it. Banana Republic now on D. We've got the captain, Jake Wilson, picking up again. He sends it again. Bladey flick. Nice block there. There might be a bit of a discussion, bit of contact. Nope, no call. Bit of movement around the back. Oh, nice fake. Can't quite find a dump. Oh, there's a high stall. Oh, picked up there.
Looks like that might have been a stall call. It was definitely held in the hands of Grove for quite a while, and the stall count would have got pretty high before he got out that little cheeky push pass.
Last minute push pass. They'll have a chat about it and just see if it had left his hand by when the defender said the T of 10. There's a high five. It looks like it's going back, so that'll be a contested stall there. Game advisor on hand, but not needed. So it's going back to Yuan with the disc. He boosts it. Turnover. The Banana Republic receiver can't quite get there. We've got Dylan Taylor picking up the disc, looking for an upfield option. Can't find one, dumps back to Wilson. Nice gainer there by Wilson. Ooh, overthrown the receiver a little bit. Just can't get there. It's back to Banana Republic. Let's see if they can work it upfield. Nice grab there. Working it up, getting a bit closer, knocking on the door. Big put goes up, and I think it's just going to sail out.
Both teams being quite aggressive, taking those early long shots. Not able to complete them yet, though.
Wilson back with the disc. That's a nice cut there, but looked off. Dumped across. Wilson's going deep, but it's not on. He cuts back under. Up to Damon Stevens. Dumping it back to Wilson. He's being a real pivotal player. It goes up. Can the receiver get there? Oh, just out of reach. Would have had to be a pretty big bid to get that one. And it's up. Oh, huge bid there. I think it's just sailed out though. Wyndham get another chance at this one. Wilson walking towards the disc.
That was a massive bid by Wu Jin Yang. Great effort. Can't haul it in this time, but clearly BRU willing to work hard.
That's a nice break throw by Wyndham. Disc goes up. Ah, another one that just can't quite get there.
The first point looked so clinical from both teams, really.
Yeah.
And then this second point, a lot of miscues and misexecutions on the throw.
Disc goes up. Oh, intercepted by Wyndham. Disc goes up. Can it be taken down? There it is. Wyndham get another score. That is 2 up. Took them a while to work that one in, but they did get there in the end with a little bit of patience.
Plenty of turnovers that point, in contrast to the first one where it was 1 possession each. The second point of this game, a little bit scrappy. Both teams very willing to take the aggressive, longer options. Not always necessarily coming off, but clearly feeling like that is what's going to get them some success. A third point on offense. They seem to be sharing the workload around so far. Not appearing to have strict offense and defensive lines. And Yang will stay on the field after that heroic bid last point. And that will be a brick. And Jessica Chow, one of the 3 captains of this Banana Republic team, will bring the disc into play. Tiggerly will provide the dump. Vertical stack, very static, not a lot happening out there. Eventually, an option does come in the form of Flora Lamb, but she can't complete the dump pass. Back to Chow. And Wyndham will get a nice short field opportunity. They'll look to take advantage of this as Williams walks up nice and slowly. Doesn't want to rush it. It's a nice around break by Williams to get things moving as it finds its way to Taylor. He'll go open side. He's got a couple of players in the region. The big Tiggerly.
Looks like there might have been a bit of contact on that one. They'll have a chat about it.
Definitely has the length advantage on both his opposition matchups. They will have a chat with the game advisor.
And no call.
Retracted. That's great to see. Game advisors, of course, not there to provide a binding ruling, but rather just to provide an additional perspective and also clarification on the rules. The decisions remain in the hands of the players. As Lee will bring the sticks back in. Finds Chow going upfield. She shoots the big forehand. Couple of players underneath it. It will fall a touch short, but it will come off to Kwong. Kwong back to Lee. Players stream upfield. Not a lot of structure as again he goes express to the end zone. And a great effort contest between Wilson, Kwong and Williams.
We've got both teams working really nicely through their women this point. It's good to see. We've got a deep cut going early.
Oh, and Lee bought that fake, but Wyndham set up for the dump and the reset. So it finds its way to Williams again. You get the feeling that Williams will be crucial to Wyndham's success. Big punt. Lee definitely got the height advantage under this one as this one sails. Who will read it better? And it turns out Justin Mack will. A second great grab by Justin Mack this game, and that's another goal.
That was a great read on the disc. We had the defender going up early, but he had position.
As that disc hung in the air, I would have backed Lee to come down with it just simply due to the massive height advantage he has. But Justin Mack does a really good job of getting his body where it needed to be. Probably had a better read on the disc as well, allowed him to position where he wanted. Controlled the space beautifully. Used his strength to block out the rapidly encroaching BRU defense.
Just too good. You know it's a good goal when you end up on your back.
And that's the second for Justin Mack. He started this game strong. He's had his coffee this morning. And maybe BRU Shake accidentally ordered decaf. I'm not sure. As Wyndham have rushed out to a 3-0 lead.
We've got Wilson again with the pull. Wind may be slightly picking up as this game goes on. Pull goes up. Nice high one, giving Wyndham time to get down there. Will it stay in? It won't. That's a brick, the first brick for Wilson.
And that's that wind you were just talking about, Aaron. With that crosswind coming towards the camera and that inside-out shape from Wilson on the pull, the wind got underneath the disc and just pushed it out this sideline. So it'll be a test for the pullers to see whether they can adjust their pulls to accommodate for this wind.
Nice undercut there, but it's looked off. Oh, Blady flick goes up and she takes it down. Really nice read on that disc. Trying to keep some movement, not many options upfield. Nice break throw there. Oh, bobbled. Oh, and she holds on. Nice grab there. Another break throw. Into the end zone. Can he get there? And he brings it down. That's the first score for Banana Republic. BRU Shake are on the board.
And what we saw there from BRU was just break throw after break throw after break throw. A couple of nice inside breaks from Jessica Chow. And then an around backhand as well, a high release. And really it just gave the Wyndham defense absolutely no opportunity to get involved. And ended up with a pretty easy score for Brewers. They move it quickly and efficiently up the field.
Yep, got him on the back foot with a few break throws, and then it's pretty hard for the defense to catch up after that. And before you know it, there's the goal. So Wyndham getting their first defensive point.
We'll see what they bring. Both teams so far just opting for some match defense. Nothing too exotic. We did see a straight up early on, potentially trying to contain some of the big throwers on Wyndham. We'll see what Wyndham opt to give back in terms of defensive strategies and looks. And it'll be Wu Jin Yang with the pull for Brew. We'll see whether he can fare better than Wilson. He goes flatter and faster, but he will keep it in. That's a nice adjustment in these trickier conditions. Natalie Huang will pick it up. Expect to see her do a lot of work in this handler space for Wyndham. As she gets it back on this near side. Operating out of a side stacker, Wyndham. Finds its way to Williams. Sorry, that was Taylor. Moves it up through the centre. Back to Huang. They've now collapsed into a vertical stack. Ooh. Taylor leaves his feet, but he can't hold on. Taylor just coming off the back of a World Ultimate Club Championship campaign with the Heads of State Club out of Melbourne, as Natalie Huang says no thank you to BRU Shake.
That's a nice block there. A little bit of heads-up defense. Maybe wanted that throw to be a little bigger.
Swing to this near side. As Craven finds the disc, changes the angle. But in this cross-swing situation, things are liable to bobble. That'll be macked, and it can't be recovered.
That might be a catch your D's moment.
And an intercept. Wyndham get it straight back, and they move it through the centre. Felicity Whitehead. They're on the front foot now as Tan shoots deep. Taylor underneath. He's definitely got the height advantage. And he'll come down with it.
Dylan Taylor, great take there. He was the MVP of this tournament last year, so he's definitely one to watch on Wyndham.
Doing plenty of work downfield, Taylor has.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of these throws go up that probably you wouldn't be able to get away with in any more wind. But just that little breath of wind is making them sit right up to get some big grabs like that.
And we did see Craven's throw from this near side pop up into the wind as they threw back across field. And if this wind continues to be a factor, that throw will be very difficult and will be a constant source of trouble. Throwing back across field into the wind can be very tricky. Teams will need to try and keep the disc on the high side, which is on the far side from where we're sitting, and take their shots from there rather than get trapped on the downwind side with defensive pressure.
Yeah, those swings in the end zone with a little bit of wind sounds like Callaghan territory to me. The pull goes up, and it'll stay in this time. Oh, pointing to where he wants it. We might have a bit of a junky look here from Wyndham. Quite a tight zone, actually. Not many options. He opts for the hammer over the top. Nice movement here for BRU. Just working between the handlers. This cup is pretty stifling for them. Gonna have to go up and over again. Oh, it goes up and it's blocked. Maybe a bit of a discussion. There might have been some contact there.
Looked like Wyndham opting for a 2-3-2 in terms of their zone structure there. Two at the front, providing that on-disc pressure.
Williams puts it long. Sadly, a little too long for the receiver there. Definitely had his coffee. So now BRU get another chance to work through this zone.
So in this 2-3-2, we've got 2 players up the front, marking the disc and putting pressure on the dump. Then we've got 3 behind. And then Williams and Craven patrolling the deep space, stopping the long shots at the back.
They're sticking with the zone. Nice little gainer. Centers to the middle. Up and over to Chow. Nice take there by Chow. She's got the whole field to work with. There's the movement for BRU now. And across. Wyndham sticking with this zone. It's looking quite loose, but they're sticking with it. Up and over again. Can Chow take it down? She does.
It's a second lefty backhand from Tigger Lee.
Oh, big flick goes up and over. That's all right. Not really getting many meters here, BRU, but they're keeping possession, which is what's important in a zone. Oh, across to Chow. She just fumbles it. Wyndham back on O. We've got Jonathan Lee with the disc. He puts it. Wilson throws it long. There it is, taken down by number 17, Rebecca Kerr.
And credit to BRU there. Wyndham changed their defensive look, bring out the zone, the crampy, space-constricting zone, and BRU respond quite well. I thought they were quite patient with their movement. They threw a number of nice break throws. Lee using his height and his lefty to great effect with that high-release lefty backhand a couple of times to open things up. And they did get 1 or 2 nice shots through the center to get the movement happening.
That's a timeout called there by Banana Republic.
Fair enough, as Wyndham have jumped out to a 5-1 lead. And BRU will want to reset and maybe adjust their expectations for this one. Going down 5-1, that's a big deficit to come back from. They probably want to find something else that they can take away from this match, if not the W. Potentially use it as an opportunity to run through some of their structures, get out those first game nerves, really get into their rhythm and their groove, and then go look to attack the rest of today and pool play beyond that. With 28 teams here this weekend, it's one of the bigger tournaments on the national calendar, which is exciting. We've got 4 pools of 7, and the structure is such that the top team, the team that finishes number 1 in each pool, will progress straight into quarterfinals, and the second and third in each pool will cross over in a pre-quarter to earn that spot. So if you finish top of your pool, you get rewarded with a bye, save those legs a little bit, and 2 and 3, you're still in the hunt. And for a lot of these teams, I think they'll be aiming for a top 3 finish in their pool to make the magic happen. In terms of style adjustments, you know, gameplay, what do you think is the real big difference between both these teams at the moment, Erin? Why is Wyndham up by 5-1?
Well, I think it's a combination. Wyndham showing a little bit more patience. I think Banana Republic might be a little bit excited on some of those throws that they can't quite reel in. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more patience for BRU Shake, and they might be able to work some of them in. Although they are taking some pretty huge grabs, I think they're pretty even downfield.
Certainly have been highlight players from both sides.
Yep, some big grabs. And I like the movement of BRU as well. They're using their women down back in the handler space to get some really nice break throws off, some floaty ones that are not quite going to the receiver you'd think, but they get taken down anyway. So I think they can really work into this tournament and get those connections going.
Jessica Chow in particular, I just want to talk about her for a moment. She's doing a great job for BRU in that handler space. Thrown a number of really nice inside break shots that have been kind of, I think, the points in time when their BRU offensive has been looking the nicest, when they're not necessarily going for the difficult long shot, but they might be going for the difficult break or the more aggressive break option that sets up an easier next pass because they're suddenly on the break side. Having said that, unfortunately the BRU line has made a couple of simple execution errors. Unfortunate for them. Given the disc away cheaply just a couple of times, and Wyndham have been pretty reliable at punishing them for those mistakes. As BRU will catch the pull, and BRU will have to play zone offense again. Wijanto dumps it back to Lin. Crossfield to Grow.
Ooh.
He goes up the line to Lee under pressure. We get a good look at this 2-3-2. And a lovely inside-out backhand. Grow opens things up with that crossfield swing. That's a tricky shot, and that's veteran vision for you. You can see how important he is for this team as Lin tries to go over the top with a high release backhand. In this wind, that's tricky, but Grow brings it down with 2 hands. Does nicely.
Ooh.
Big backhand, and it's out the sideline.
Such a shame. That was some really good movement for BRU there. Their little throws over the top have actually been coming off. The 3 in the middle, not really getting many blocks on those, so I'd like to see more of that movement.
And Jonathan Lee, he had an open shot to the end zone, but just aired it out a little bit too much. And Wyndham will now look to take advantage as they move it to this near side. And the shot down the line. It's just going to be too far out in front of Ryan.
Maybe looking to holster those throws. Wyndham look pretty in control when they're just working it up the field. Don't know if they need to rush those passes.
Especially shooting from this downwind sideline is always going to be difficult. Wilson, one of the key shot takers for Wyndham, he needs to be the one that recognises where the places to shoot from are, and it's always going to be the high side in this wind, which is exactly where BRU go with their first pass to Grow. He fakes. Finds Wijanto in the centre. Oh, and that's hand blocked.
Ooh.
Just gets a piece of it, but does enough, and that one will roll out the side. Wyndham will have the disc at about halfway on the far sideline.
Got a few metres on that roll, luckily for them.
Wheatland will provide the dump option. She's got a height advantage. We'll see whether she can take advantage of that as Ryan looks to move, as does Mac.
Ooh.
He thinks about leaving his feet. You can see it in his eyes, and maybe regrets not doing so.
Bit early in the morning for that, maybe.
Lin. Swing to Grow, a little low. Goes to ground, about 10 metres out. Wilson will walk slowly to the disc as they set up a compact vertical stack. Wheatland at the front. We'll see whether she's first to move. And she is. She goes open side. Big floaty throw from Wilson.
Ooh.
Too much float.
Straight out the sideline there.
Seen a fair bit of overthrowing from both teams. And not a lot of underthrowing. So I think they could probably afford to just rein it in just a touch. Take a little bit of spice off their throws. Nice swing to Grow. BRU being really disciplined in getting the disc to the high side as their first priority, which is actually really nice to see. Oh, Grow thought about the long shot down this near side, but doesn't take the option. Swings back to Lin, and the pressure gets to her, and Craven doesn't get a touch on it, but just enough. And it's a beautiful day today. The sun's out. There's not a cloud to be seen in the sky.
Break throw. Oh.
Justin Mack puts that one down. It's a nice shot from Wilson.
That defensive pressure getting to both teams, I think, with a few little fumbles.
Big swing to Lin. Can she get a continuation through the centre?
Oh, great block there.
Justin Mack, he's been the X factor for Wyndham Titans so far. Couple of goals, a couple of great blocks.
Maybe making up for not leaving his feet earlier.
Certainly is. As Michelle Forsyth gets her first touch, finds Wilson up line, 2 metres out. Easy pass to Mack for the goal.
That's a nice goal there for Wyndham. Both teams have been really trying to capitalise on turns and get it moving really quickly, which has worked a little bit, but sometimes they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves. But that one was just some really nice quick movement. BRU didn't really have a chance to even set a defense on that, and it was already a goal.
Justin Back really has been the impact player for Wyndham so far. He's had 3 goals, 2 great blocks, and plenty of generation as well through the centre. And so far, the Banana Republic don't have a decent answer for how to contain him. Some of the leadership of this BRU team having a bit of a chat on this near side about what happened in that last point, about how they're going to get through that tricky zone of Wyndham.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical zone, the puppy. It's a bit looser and maybe a few more people right around the disc. So I think that BRU have the right idea with popping it up and over that. They've just got to see if they can sort of finish the job. They're getting about halfway there and then can't really work it all the way into the goal. The disc goes up. Will it stay in? It won't. We've had a few bricks out that side. When they go a little too high, it just sails right on out with that little bit of wind.
And it looks like pretty reliably Wyndham have got 2 lines as opposed to an O and a D line, just 2 lines sharing the duties on the field, trying to keep that chemistry between the groups of 7. It's not totally strict. There's a few players that have been sharing duties, but generally speaking, we've got 2 lines from Wyndham.
Oh, that throw pops up and it's taken down by Chow. Nice grab there. BRU just moving it between the handlers. Oh, nice try through the cup. It was a good look, but couldn't quite find the receiver. Wyndham on offense again. Nice quick movement. Oh, and she puts it long. 2 defenders under it. And it's taken down beautifully by James Craven.
And that's the ruthless response that we've come to associate with Wyndham. If BRU give them the disc, they're pretty good at turning possessions into goals. And all of a sudden, they're at 7-1 in a very commanding position and ready to take half.
We've seen some really nice puts, I think, by women in this game, which is exciting to see. We've got women around the disc a little bit more and some male receivers really showing off their grabs.
No shortage of female throwing power, that's for sure. Natalie Huang doing a bucket of work for Wyndham, both shooting and just distributing really nicely. She's done a great job of controlling the tempo when she's been playing offense for Wyndham. Really being that quarterback on the field for Wyndham. Sometimes having to, I guess, pull the leash a little bit on players like Wilson, who have been very, very keen to boost it and maybe sometimes a little over keen, and she's provided that calming influence and the cool head. As BRU have to play some more zone offense. Wyndham liking the results they're getting from their zone.
Oof.
And they'll be rewarded again. As Forsyth cuts that one out, and they find Wilson. He shoots to Forsyth. It's going to float. Can she get there?
Oh.
And that will be a turnover. And again, Wilson. He's very happy to pull the trigger.
Forsyth wanting the bookends there, but couldn't quite get it.
Not sure if Wilson's ever met a deep cut that he didn't like the look of. Doesn't know how to swipe left on a huck option as they dump it back to Lee. See whether we can use his length to break the mark. There he goes to that high release forehand, lefty backhand, sorry. It's a nice looking shot.
Oh.
And Henry Wajanto can't return the favour as he looks for the swing.
Annie Chung doing a lot of work in the centre there for BRU. Really making some space, making some options, but not quite getting it.
Ryan will find a wide open Craven for the goal on this near side. BRU just getting beaten to the open side. And that's half all of a sudden. Wyndham jump out to 8-1. BRU just not really with an answer. The game started in match from both sides and Wyndham was dominant. But when you saw the switch to zone, that was when they really put their foot down. And BRU haven't found a response yet. Having said that, it's not like BRU are short on opportunities. They've had plenty of great passages of offense. They've had some great movement up the field at different times. They're just not consistently able to string those nice passages of offensive flow together long enough to get goals on the board.
Yeah, just that last 10%, maybe a little bit of red line fever. Can't quite get there.
And as these players take a quick break for halftime, so will we. But don't go anywhere as we'll bring you the second half of Wyndham Titans and BRU Shake to get day one kicked off at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships, coming to you live from Nelson Bay. And welcome back to the second half of BRU Shake and Wyndham Titans. We're coming to you live from Nelson Bay in New South Wales at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships. It's Division 2. And what's not to love? We have a great game here. The scoreline doesn't represent the quality of the play or how close it's been. Both teams have had plenty of opportunities. And they'll have plenty more to come. My name's Max Stenstrom. I'm joined in the booth, as always, by Erin Healy. Erin?
Yes.
If I was asleep for the first half
Yep.
and I didn't know what was going to happen next, what would you tell me?
Look, I wouldn't count anything out this half. We could see a beautiful comeback by BRU. They really are getting a lot of nice movement up the field. Just a few little skill errors that aren't quite coming off for them. I think if they can tighten the screws, they've got the legs, they've got the throws, they might be able to be in this game.
Feels like they falter at the last step. You know, they'll have 3 or 4 or 5 really nice passes upfield, and then they'll make a simple mistake and give it all away. So we'll see if they can string it together. As Wyndham will play some offense, and Huang with the disc will come near side.
Ooh.
And that will bobble out of the hands of Yan. Or Van Christina. And BRU with another opportunity now.
Ooh.
She shoots. We've spoken about their tendency to shoot. Oh, and it almost came back in. But Wilson Kwong not able to get there. Wyndham did well to have 2 defenders in the vicinity.
Yeah, they might be expecting that shot to go up based on the history of this game. They might have been a little bit too ready for that one.
And Wyndham will play some offense. Richard Lewis Shell. Haven't seen a lot from him yet so far, but he'll inject himself behind the disc at this point. And now Craven. Stall count rises, has to work hard to find something. Ends up with the quick flip to the dump. Through the guts, finds Whitehead. Whitehead finds Van. Back to Whitehead. They're moving it nicely through the middle. Women connecting well. Van again. She'll find Craven now. And he'll go back to Huang. BRU in all sorts on defense. Not able to get much traction. Lewis Shell, high release backhand. And they're on the doorstep. Disc in the hands of Van. She has Felicity Whitehead streaming towards it.
Oh.
And just throws it into her shoelaces and she can't pick it up.
That's that clinical movement from Wyndham, just working it up the field. They just can't quite get there in the end. We've got a side stack forming for BRU here. Trying something a little bit different.
Jessica Yang with the disc. They're looking to isolate Yang, and he does find the disc, but not for many meters. He fakes the big backhand, winds up the flick and shoots. And it bobbles off the hands of Taylor, but Lewis Shell up to the task of regathering. And BRU will scramble to get some sort of defense on. There's 3 Wyndham players all over the field as the disc finds its way into the hands of Wilson. He'll put it out in front of Taylor. And Taylor won't give that one up. 2 hands on the chest. Easy as you like. And Wyndham come out in the second half the way they finished the first. It's 9-1.
Yeah, that was a really nice point for Wyndham, offensively and defensively. Their D was looking quite poachy on that side stack, which could spell trouble, but BRU couldn't really capitalise on that. They didn't have much of the field to work with and didn't quite take what they were given. They put up a long shot that was pretty well marked by at least 2 Wyndham defenders.
And conversely, when Wyndham had the disc, the BRU Shake defense looked a little scrambled, a little lost. I don't know if it was meant to be a banana split, but it ended up being a smoothie. Pieces flying everywhere. And they weren't really able to get much defensive traction, slow down Wyndham at all as they went sideline to sideline with little resistance. It's worth noting that here at AMUC, we are playing the ABBA rules for gender, which means we'll have 4 of one gender on the first point, then 4 of the other gender for the next 2 points, and then it'll go 2 points, 2 points, 2 points for the rest of the match, ensuring totally equal game time for men and women, which is a good change, I think, from the old offense or end zone decides rule.
We can see this zone again by Wyndham, making Banana Republic keep playing through it. Let's see if they can work it out this half. There's a lot of nice movement. They've got about 5 bodies right around the disc. Working it through, up and over again. Nice grab there by Annie Chung. Oh, and that one's just intercepted. Wyndham on O now. Oh, having to work hard for that one. Can't quite get there, Rebecca Kerr. She puts on a big mark now. Straight back into that zone for Wyndham. Nice movement to Chow. Keep on moving it through. That's Megan Ewan with the disc. Not many options, but she puts it up the sideline. Oh, wanting the big. There it is. He's hucked it to the deep receiver. Can he get it? Oh, can't quite get there. That's a really nice block there for Wyndham. James Craven with another one on the board.
BRU looked so good in the early part of that point, moving the disc quickly, and then as things slowed down, the trickier shots get taken. So I'd love them to keep that tempo high, keep taking the easy 1 or 2 metre passes, just as a way to keep their flow moving.
We've got Jess Lynn sitting a little bit deep on the defence here, while Wyndham work it right back in their own end zone. Not too many options because of a nice little poach by Banana Republic. Working it up. Oh, he puts it long. Working to get there. Oh, huge bid, but it's way out the back. A valiant effort.
Nice to see Wyndham very happy to get their shirts dirty this early in the tournament.
We got Wu Jin Yang with the disc now, bringing it up to the front of the end zone. This zone has reset. They're going to have to work the whole field. Back to Yang. On the sideline now, Wyndham want to trap. Oh. A couple of good passes, but then just a slight overthrow. We got Craven again with the disc. Passing to Mac. Back to Craven. Getting close to the end zone now. He puts up a bladey flick. Oh, bobbled, but then brought down in the end by Dylan Taylor.
And that shot into the end zone to Taylor was very much a trust throw. There wasn't a lot of separation between Gros and Taylor, but Taylor's clearly a premier receiver. They trusted him to get the read on some floaty pie, position himself well, and in the end had to bobble it, but he got the goal. And Wyndham continue on their run.
Yeah, they're persisting with this zone, and I think you would when it's working as well as it is. BRU not really having an answer yet. Let's see if they can work something up in the next few points.
I did like their offensive movement that point from BRU. They, especially early in that point, they had more players behind the disc. Handlers looking to give and go rather than just hit those big swings and then stand back and wait for something downfield. Looking to be more dynamic behind the disc. And it actually was opening up some nicer options. And it was only as things slowed down, those dynamic movements disappeared, that the more difficult, riskier long shots were taken. So hopefully that's something they're trying to incorporate more, that behind the disc movement. And we'll see whether that can find them some success. They've got their other line out there on the field now. We'll see whether they take their cue from their teammates. As Henry Wojanto, the captain, with the disc, moves it across field, back to Tiggy Lee. High release lefty backhand. He loves that throw.
Ooh.
And a nice block from Clarice Tan. Injects herself defensively, and Jake Wilson does what Jake Wilson does best, which is a big backhand into the end zone for the goal, and that's bookends.
Oh. The BRU defender was right there streaming down, but she is just too good. She gets the block, she gets the goal. What a great point there for Tan. She says, thank you very much. I'll stay on and do that one again.
Wilson, no hesitation. As we've seen all game long, never hesitates to pull the trigger on a shot to the end zone. That one perfectly weighted. And Clarice Tan happy to reap the rewards.
BRU looking a little bit deflated on the sideline now. A few heads dropping. Definitely hard to keep positive with a score like this, but I think they still have a really big opportunity here to do what they do, work out some of their structures, and yeah, get some good practice against some challenging defense early on in this tournament.
And it definitely can be seen as an asset to have tough games early on, because for a team like Wyndham, who look pretty set to finish this game in very commanding fashion, if their first time that they face a team that really pushes them is in a knockout match, they may not be ready to dig deep, to roll with the blows, roll with the punches, and fight through a tough 70-minute match. So BRU can see this as an opportunity to get that expectation into their play and be ready to take tough matchups and work hard for every pass.
Oh, there's a block by Wyndham in that zone.
Lewis Shell does nicely, sticks out the left hand and intercepts that pass. Has to work hard now, not a lot opening up, and doesn't look back until quite late in the count.
Ooh.
And Craven back to Lewis Shell. There might have been an opportunity for a run-through block there, but it didn't come as Lewis Shell forehand to Huang. She gets upfield and proves she's just as deadly downfield as she is behind the disc. And that's a goal for Wyndham. And all of a sudden, we're rapidly closing in on the end of this match. It's worth noting that we're playing 70-minute games to the 2:15. And at the moment, Wyndham very much in the driver's seat of this game.
Yeah, they look like they're really settling in. A few of those little mistakes that they were doing earlier on in the game, slightly overthrowing their receivers, is rapidly disappearing. They are looking very in control at the moment. They've got their whole line out there supporting. I think they want to finish strong on this one. Williams with the pull. Let's see if he can keep this one in. It's been a bit tricky from this side. Very nice and outside in. It stays in. And yet again, we see this Wyndham zone. Oh, and it goes up. Oh, contested grab there, a bit of a pack. And Wyndham get that block. Got Williams with the disc. He wants to put it. He sort of does. Swings it. Oh, and it just sails out the sideline. Receiver can't quite get there. We've got BRU with another chance. Zhengru Li with the disc again. We've got the familiar faces of Jessica Chow back as well. Trying to get some early movement. Stalled a little bit. Chow with the disc. Ooh, up and over. Oh, and just slightly over the receiver there. Wyndham move it very quickly to start off with. Wilson puts it. Oh, found the receiver, but she couldn't quite hold on. She pops her hand up, says, yep, my bad. Thurgood can't quite get there. All right, Banana Republic back on O. A nice big swing across the back of the end zone. Lee with the disc looking for options. Oh, winds up for the big backhand but doesn't throw it. Back to Lee. Wants an up and over. Will he do it? Chung really working to get free there. Back to, oh, takes it away from Chow. He puts a big backhand up to one of the deep receivers. We got Lim under it. Oh, and a big block there from Craven. Whole field to work now. Bruce scrambling to get on there, people. Oh, Wyndham still in possession. Nice grab there by Mac. Through the middle. Wilson picks that one up. Wyndham looking really clinical, working it all the way down. And Wilson throws the goal there. That is Vanessa Thurgood with the goal, making up for her little fumble before. That's some really clinical offense by Wyndham there.
And BRU Shake clearly still working hard though, which is commendable from them. You know, obviously the scoreboard isn't in the position they want and doesn't look pretty for them, but they're still working hard, putting pressure on Wyndham where they can. Wyndham just on another level of class. I think they've just got some really slick throws and some really clean looking structures. A lot of the players very clearly on the same page and working in sync well.
Yeah, this zone is just really shutting down BRU for most of this game. What do you reckon they should be aiming to do to break through it, Max?
I think we've seen them at their best when they're moving the disc quickly and where they're content to go sideways and backwards in order to maintain possession, but they're always looking to move it quickly. Obviously, you have to find that fine line between quick movement and rushing it. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to get frantic. But when they can keep the defensive structure having to readjust constantly, holes will open up. Opportunities will present themselves for opportunities to gain meters, etc. So keeping that high tempo will be crucial for them. As we rapidly approach the end of the game, it is now 13 to Wyndham. And just as I said, BRU back playing zone offense, but they're not able to find, they're not looking to generate that quick movement from behind the disc. Instead looking for the downfield players to provide those options. As Lee centers back to Yang. Doesn't have a lot opening up. He looks off the easy shot, instead goes over the top with the scuba to Henry Wajanto. But unfortunately, for him at least, he'll drop that one cold.
Might have already been thinking about that next pass. We do want that quick movement, but you've just got to catch it first.
One thing at a time for BRU. As Wyndham, one pass to Taylor. Too easy as Emma Wheatland gets an assist to her name. And it's suddenly match point for Wyndham. As the game advisors will surely signal with their dab arm positioning shortly.
There it is.
Hannah Monty and Steve Baker, thank you very much for your services. Our two game advisors for this match, both hugely experienced. They've game advised at multiple world championships in Australia and overseas. They were both game advising at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships in Perth earlier this year, and more recently over in North America at the World Ultimate Club Championships as well. So we're lucky to have them provide their international level services to our national championships this weekend.
We've got Lewis Shell disc in hand. See if we can keep this pull in. Wind died down a little bit, so we might see some more big shots. Nice pull that's going to sit there for the Wyndham defenders who are streaming down. We got Dylan Taylor on his bike trying to stop that first pass. And the zone one more time. Oh, Lim pops it over the top but can't quite get there.
I think Natalie Huang got just a fingertip on it. Adjusted the flight just enough.
We got Lewis Shell picking up. He'll be keen to finish this one off. Right on the doorstep, he swings backwards.
Absolutely nothing happening upfield. Still as statues in the stack as these two handlers look to isolate themselves and go one-on-one.
Nice movement from Huang. Oh, just a little bit behind the receiver there. A Van. Oh! Was that up? There might be a discussion. Yes, it was. That was a great grab there. Nice patient movement here for BRU. Big pivot. Stall count must be rising. That's a nice. Ooh. Oh, great block there. All right, Wyndham back on offense. We've got Lewis Shell picking up. Can they get a bit more movement downfield to punch this one in? A few more cuts. Oh, the hammer over the top. Disc is up now. It's in the middle of the field. We've got it with Christina Van. And back to Huang. Oh, the nice swing pass for the goal. That is Clarice Tan finishing off the game.
And what better way to do it? I mean, really, Natalie Huang has been instrumental for Wyndham all game long. In my opinion, they've looked best when she's been on the field, driving their offense. And Clarice Tan has done a mountain of work getting open almost at will downfield. So it's fitting that those two connect for the final goal of this one. As Wyndham wrap it up in a dominating fashion, 15-1. BRU just never able to really play at their level. Their defense wasn't able to slow Wyndham down much, and their offense was never able to be quite consistent enough against Wyndham's match or zone defense.
Yeah, exciting to see where both teams go from this starting point. First game of the tournament. Let's see if Banana Republic can get those connections together.
And just like that, that's the first game wrapped up, but we have plenty more great matchups coming to you all day long and all weekend long from the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships here at Nelson Bay on the north coast of New South Wales. Our next game coming up following this one will be MC